So here we have a quite an interesting token, one that I quite like, is we have CAKE, so the token of Pancakeswap, which is the principal DEX on the BNB network. I really like this. I really like BNB. I actually landed a really nice trade on this recently. As you can see here, caught a really lovely long and rode it up to $4.50. Yeah, I really like it. I think it's an interesting token to trade. This has been on my list to do for a while. It's had a really nice run. So I think it's certainly an interesting one. Now we're seeing a little bit of that initial frenzy cool off. But we can go through and mark out some key levels that we look at. So because we've had quite a lot of price history on this, we've got some really nice high time frame levels to look at. So we'll look at the 6 months. We'll mark these in. We've got our low that we'll put in here. And if we scroll all the way out, we have our high up here. So moving down the time frame, is there anything on the 3 months that we can see? Yep, you've got a nice 3-month level there that we'll make that line white and go 3 months. Is there anything else? If we zoom in, no, I think we've got that line that perfectly covers that. This 6 monthly line. We've got a quite nice level actually that we can put in here, which sits just below, but I think when we zoom out it will give us some interesting levels to look at. So if we move down onto the monthly, what can we see? So we can see this has really aggressively sold off in the bear market since last cycle, but we've got a monthly level there. Got an interesting one here actually from launch. So I'll mark these in. We've got another one here. And another one here. So mark these in. And so we'll now drop down onto the weekly, and I'll reset the chart for you just so we can properly see what we have to work with. As you can see, massive expansion in this area. This is a big liquidity zone. I mean, you can see just the sheer size of these candles. So I think if we grab this rectangle, basically put it across that box. I think if you go across there, you can see just this liquidity in here. Go across, look, you can see, and there's so much above. Quite an interesting movement, as you can see here, between this all-time low. A lot of liquidity in here that is used as fuel before. So we see that this level here, this 6-month level, is really key. We dropped in below, reached our low and pushed up, came back down, tested and held this area of consolidation here, used fuel from here to go all the way up here, came back down, same story, fuel to go, and then we see this really nice accumulation on the high time frame as we grind up, gaining this 3-month level, then gaining this 6-month level, gaining this monthly level before coming back, tapping this level and going. I think if we look at where this could potentially go in the future, I think that strikes me as a really interesting zone. If we look, the key I think on this for me given sort of the way that this looks here, you can see that it keeps grabbing liquidity from up here. I'd probably, to hold this higher, so I got out around here. I'd want to see this come up and regain this monthly level. I think on this, if we, and I mean, we can go down, if we go onto the daily time frame, you can see it a little bit more clearly, but you probably want to see some closes above here. I think for this now, what may be quite interesting is we may come down, and as we've moved so quickly through this box every time, we may see some movement in here as we grind up, push through, gain this monthly level and go. Similarly, it may require a dip into here to grab some fuel from this area before we then push up. But I'm quite bullish on this. I mean, I think if you're looking to long this, I'd certainly wait. I think potentially from a safety point of view, you could maybe get a nice entry down here, possibly with some entries layered in here. If we look at where the volume sits on this, we go across. You've got a really, really nice backtest here. Horizontal ray, there we are. Here, I think here may be a really interesting entry, this 2593. Coincidentally, that was around the area that I had previously. So that could be certainly one to keep an eye on. But yeah, as you can see, coming down. The real test will be this 6-month level, so it may be that we come down. Personally, having seen that now, I quite like the scenario of range, down, grab this here, and go. But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Do I think the BNB narrative is over? Absolutely not. Do I think it may cool off a little bit? Perhaps so. I think there's some profit taking to be had. This was a mega move up here, as you can see, like 85%. Holding in this level, I think we're now seeing a little bit of distribution before maybe a little bit more accumulation and then a second go at it. But yeah, definitely one to keep an eye on. I do quite like Cake. So yeah, if there's any tickers you'd like me to break down, let me know in the comments and I will do those. And if you click the link in the description, you can join a Telegram group, which I will be posting some more of these setups because I'm quite liking doing them, and I have an absurd number of alts charted out, so it'll be interesting to see if we can keep expanding that list. But yeah, thank you very much.